War for the Planet of the Apes. So what's up, everybody? Welcome to your spoiler review for War for the Planet of the Apes. This here, of course, is the third film in the Apes franchise. It started with a little movie called Rise of the Planet of the Apes. And then we had the Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. And now we're at the War. So there was this little movie that came out. It was a reboot slash prequel, so to speak, of Planet of the Apes. 1968, that movie came out with a bunch of other sequels. And I was never a fan, to be honest. And then right around 2000 or so, Tim Burton decided to reboot it with Mark Wahlberg, and we had a new Planet of the Apes. And I remember at that point liking the film. If I try to rewatch that Tim Burton one now, not so much. That movie is garbage. So then when Rise of the Planet of the Apes was coming out several years ago, I was kind of like, I don't know how well this one's going to go. I mean, I just don't. So, but we'll give it a shot. We'll give it a try. We'll see what happens. James Franco? Okay, let's see what happens. And it was an incredible movie, man. I love that first one. And to be honest, now after seeing all three, I still personally like the first one the best. So Rise was just incredible. Then the director left. And Rupert Wyatt, I believe, was the original director. And he left the film going into the sequel, which was very odd. And a little director named Matt Reeves stepped in. Matt Reeves at that time had really only done like Cloverfield, Let Me In. So who knows? Let's see what he does. But now we got Dawn of the Planet of the Apes taking place about 5 years after the first film, 5 to 10 years after the first film. And now most of humanity's been wiped out by the virus. James Franco's dead. Spoiler alert. You know, so now all this stuff has happened. And Caesar has now moved into the woods and he's just trying to live his life. Of course, most of the humans in that movie are trying to live their life too, but they need to work together for the dam. But of course, we don't trust the apes, and the apes don't trust the humans, and Koba turns bad, and it's a whole big man versus ape, ape versus ape, crazy kind of war, and that's Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. An amazing film. Matt Reeves stepped in and just took it over beautifully. And now we have War. War for the Planet of the Apes, right? The end of the second one, the ships were called, the army was coming in, things were about to go down. So we're going to get a war, right? That's my one beef with this third film. There's not really a war. So saying it's a war for the Planet of the Apes, not quite. It's a war between one military group and Caesar's group. And then possibly another military group. Oh yeah, this is the spoiler review, we can say it. Woody Harrelson's crew is basically a bunch of dicks, and they just want to wipe everybody out. There's a new virus going around that's making humans turn into apes, basically. They're losing their voices, and they can only go... And so that's all it is. They get cut out, and now the apes are just trying once again to live their life. That's all they want to do, man. That's all Caesar wants to do. He's got a wife. He's got a son, and now he's even got a little baby son in this one. Cornelius, his little baby. But Woody Harrelson's crew is saying, fuck it. Let's go kill these apes. Let's go break some shit. Let's go tear it down. And unfortunately, in a raid one night, Caesar's wife and his firstborn son, who was a big character in the second movie, get murdered by Woody Harrelson's Colonel character. So now, Caesar, pissed. Apes together, strong. So, you know, Caesar basically is like, fuck this, I'm out. I'm going to go check this shit out. I'm going to go find the Colonel, and I'm going to go wreck shop. I'm going to do this for my apes. I'm going to break this down. So he goes off. A couple of the apes are like, no, man, don't go without us. We're here with you. We ride with you to the end, Caesar. We're going to take it. So they all go off. They find this little girl who's basically been affected by the disease. She is a mute, and she becomes this character, Nova. Very good, man. This girl kills it. I wish I knew what her name was. There she is right there in the corner over here. You see my finger? Right there. as you see it playing in the background. That's Nova. But she's great in it, man. She just carries the film just with emotion, just with her face, without even ever speaking. She goes along for the ride with them. Of course, it's Caesar and his confidants. Some beautiful moments in there. Caesar's pissed, man. He's become vengeance at this point. He just wants the colonel for killing his wife and child. But in the course of trying to go after them, the colonel finds all the other apes, puts them in this jail, and he makes them his slaves to build a wall to prevent this other attack. That was another little kind of silly thing. The apes are making literally like this just wooden block kind of wall. What military group is that gonna stop? I mean, come on, Woody, you're smarter than this. Woody Harrelson was a great villain in this thing. He was just no holds barred. He gave no Fs. And I thought he did great. There was another ape in it that they called Donkey. He was with the humans, and I kept waiting, man. I'm like, come on, Donkey. You need to side with the apes here eventually, right? Because this is ridiculous. But, everything's unfolding. They break out the apes. And, of course, they meet Bad Ape along the way, played by Steve Zahn, and Bad Ape was awesome. This was a great character and a great addition. He wasn't in any of the other films, but he was badass in this one. The apes escape. We get a final breakdown. Caesar goes after Colonel. He's finally going to get a chance to kill him. And guess what? Colonel's now been affected by that disease. How did he get it? Well, at one point, Nova left a little doll in Caesar's cage, and that doll had the virus on it. The Colonel picked it up, and he got infected. That's what you get, Woody Harrelson. So he gets infected. When Caesar goes to kill him, he's like, and so he ends up basically leaving the Colonel alone and letting him kind of suffer just based on being affected by the virus. But Woody Harrelson grabs a gun, shoots himself in the head, and kills himself. Caesar breaks off, and there's this massive army coming in. They think they've won the fight. Caesar's on top of the hill, and all the guards turn and look, and I'm like, oh shit, Caesar's about to get blasted. But he makes it off. A big avalanche comes down, takes everybody out. Really great stuff. This movie was so good. So incredibly good. This whole series is so incredibly good. You know, my wife, I've been begging her to watch these films, and she's like, nah, I'm not interested. Why? Please give it a chance, babe. Please. Now I'm pleading to her that she ain't even going to watch this video. But, it just makes no sense. These movies are just incredible. The motion capture in these things. I'm watching this in the movie theater going, man, these apes are great actors. No, they're real people wearing damn mocap suits with cameras strapped to their faces walking around, and it gets CG'd later. The art is so beautiful, man. Andy Serkis kills it again. Caesar, for being a fake ape CGI character, Caesar is one of the greatest characters I've ever come to love in any series. I love him, seeing him grow in the first film, into the leader in the second film, and then leading his troops to the promised land in this one. And unfortunately, being a trilogy, I had a feeling they were going to kill him off, and unfortunately they did. They finally get away. They finally make it to the Mecca, some new land for the apes to just run free and be fine. And as soon as they sit down and get a chance to relax, Caesar's hurt from the battle and he's bleeding really bad. And he just passes out and dies at the end of this film. He doesn't get to enjoy seeing his apes reach the promised land, and it's really, really sad. And I was like, no, I knew you were going to kill him off, damn you. Because they're talking about possibly doing more of these films down the road. I don't know, Matt Reeves is going on to make the Batman now. They could do more, but man, without Caesar, I don't know if I'm really interested, to be honest. he's the factor here, man. And without him, but you know what? This trilogy just tells the whole story from start to finish so beautifully for Caesar. All the characters in these films, everyone from, James Franco in the first one to Jason Clarke and Kerry Russell in the second one to Woody Harrelson in this one. Just the way it all comes apart and comes together is just classic. One of the greatest, I honestly think this is one of the greatest trilogies we've ever had. We've never had such a solid 3 films. It's very rare to have a solid trilogy. I mean, there are several out there like Star Wars and other things, but it's hard to do, and Apes really pulled it off. So, I can't recommend this thing enough. I gave this 4.5 out of 5 stars. I gave the other 2 5 stars completely. I scaled this one back a little bit because, like I said, this is not a war. You don't really see a war. There's very few action scenes. This is a very big drama. It has a lot of great acting moments, some conflict, but it's not a war. So I scaled it back a little bit. Got a little bit misleading there, a little bit false advertising. So that's why I scaled it back. But it's still an amazing film. Can't wait to buy this on Blu-ray and watch it again and force the wife to watch all three back to back, right? That's the goal. So 4.5 out of 5 for me. I love this film. Everybody kills it. All the characters are great. Go out and see it if you haven't seen it. If you haven't seen it, why are you watching the spoiler review and getting spoiled unless you just don't care? Maybe this will entice you more to go see it, right? But, you know, if you have seen it and you liked it, hey, comment below. Let me know what you think, and I'd really appreciate it. So while you're here, thanks for watching, and thanks for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. It's Am I on the Air, your latest and greatest entertainment news podcast, out every Sunday, amiontheair.com. Click the little things over here. I don't know where they're going to pop up. But latest episode of Am I on the Air, Apes Together, Strong. Listen to that one, or whatever's the latest episode by the time that you watch this video, and subscribe to our channel and everything. So thanks a lot. I'm DONMEGA. You can follow me on Twitter at DXDONMEGA. Follow our show at Am I on the Air. We always keep you up to date with all the latest and greatest entertainment news. And we'll catch you next time. Peace.